You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. I'm Jen, and we're two boss babes sharing our journey and inspiring you along the way. Today, we are doing a solo episode. Megan is currently in Alaska, and I don't know when this is going to air, but I know she's going to do a whole episode about her trip, and I just can't wait to hear about it because she manifested Alaska because, as most of you know, she will be moving there next year, and I'll let her share her story, but you probably have heard us talking about how she found a wedding on a Facebook group, and it's in Alaska, and I'm just so excited for her, and I cannot wait to hear all about it. So I'm doing a solo episode today. I miss her so much. We're not together, but it's going to be a good one because I have so much on my mind, and I'm just going to share it with you guys and hopefully inspire one of you to know that when you are an entrepreneur and your brain is crazy, you are not alone. So that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about today. I have been in my business. I am Jen. I am the mobile bar of the duo of Shoot Your Shot podcast. And I have been in the mobile bar scene now. This is our 5th season that we're in, which we are more than halfway through, which is just crazy. If you're a new listener here, the background of my story is I was a corporate girly and I worked for Hyatt Hotels for 13 years. I did wedding planning, event planning, and then my later part of my career, I did corporate event planning. And I loved it. I loved every second of it, but I just truly felt like there was more to my story. And I don't think I've ever shared this, but I actually went to a psychic medium with my mom. And it was funny because it was actually at the hotel that I was working at. They had a company that came in a few times during the year, and they had like different psychics throughout. So I don't know if you believe in this, but it was really crazy what they told me because they said, as I'm in, my job, my corporate job, I'm in the building of, they were like, you are not going to be here forever. And I was like, yeah, right. Like, this is my journey. This is where I see myself. I'm climbing the corporate ladder. I am going to be a director. I am going to run my department. And that was just what I foresaw my future unfolding as. And they basically were like, you're meant for more and you're going to be doing something bigger than this. You're going to be inspiring people. And I had no clue that my journey was going to be where it is today. But I look back at that conversation and again, I don't know if I believe in it all. I don't know if it's just a coincidence or whatever it is, but that is what they told me. And now I'm here today with an amazing company. So I started my business during COVID. I was furloughed from my career and I didn't know what was next. I didn't know if I was going to get my job back. I didn't know what the hospitality world actually looked like for the future of events because, during the pandemic, you couldn't host more than 10 people in a room. And I was hosting events for 2,000 people. So I just didn't know what that looked like. And my crazy brain, I am someone who does try to plan for the future. So, which I think is a really good thing in entrepreneurship because you have to constantly be planning for your future or there will not be a future. So I saw this in the hospitality industry and I was like, okay, I don't know what this is going to look like in 2 months. I don't know what this is going to look like in 2 years. So I went down the rabbit hole of Pinterest and I started searching mobile bars. And I saw what people were doing with these amazing horse trailers. And I just had this gut feeling of this is something I could do. And I don't know if you know my backstory, but I was a bartender in college. I made a great vodka soda, or actually, I should say vodka cranberry because that's what we drank back then. But I did not have the mixology experience. I didn't have the craft cocktail experience. I worked if you're local to the area, I worked in New Haven at the clubs. So you were just getting the fastest drink that could get you a buzz. You were not enjoying your alcohol. You were not enjoying what you were drinking. It was just like, what can I get really drunk with on fast? Which was mostly Long Island iced teas, vodka Red Bulls and vodka cranberries. So that was what I was an expert at. So fast forward, I knew I had some bartending experience, but I thought I also had a lot of sales experience from my sales job at the Hyatt of doing events. So what I did there was a client would call in, they would want to book their wedding or their corporate event or whatever event it was, and I would sell them the space and execute the entire event. So I had the sales knowledge, I had the event planning knowledge, and I had the communication of being able to talk to people and show them this experience that they were going to get when they booked their event at our hotel. So that really allowed me to understand that I could do something more with this whole mobile bar thing. Because as a mobile bar, you are creating a very fun, unique bar experience for the host and the guests at events. So I was still in the event scene. I was still gathering people together for a fun experience. I was like, okay, maybe I could do this. So again, fast forward, I launched the mobile bar and I left my corporate career after 13 plus years, which was very hard. It was a hard conversation that I had to have with my husband, with myself, we had 2 toddlers under the age of 2, and I brought a very significant income to our household. So it was something that I really had to sit down and crunch the numbers and really say, okay, is this something that we are not going to starve? Is this something that our major bills, like our mortgage, like our, electricity, like the things that we cannot live without, are these things that my bills are still going to be paid? And is this something that can truly motivate me to keep going? And it was, and I am so glad that I did it. I am so glad that I was able to truly dive into this experience, because I've said this to other mobile bar owners who I've done coaching for, or just other business entrepreneurs who are either starting their journey or they're on their journey right now and they're still working full-time jobs. I would not be where I am today if I did not have the luxury of being able to dive 110% into this business. I would not be where I am today if I was still working my corporate job. I would just not be able to promote my business the way that I was able to promote it when I first started if it wasn't for COVID, because we were home. So we weren't really doing much. My kids were home and I was able to work the side hustle on the hours that I was not entertaining and feeding a newborn child and a 2-year-old. So actually my son wasn't even 2 yet. He was 18 months when my daughter was born. And when I started my business, I think he was almost 2 maybe. But yeah, it was a wild ride. And I look back and I'm like, how the hell did I do that? How did I survive? How did I not? Well, I did open a mobile bar, so I did drink a lot, but that's another story. But I know to this day that if I did not leave my job and start this business, it would not be where it is today. So with that, this podcast episode is truly inspired from having a conversation with another entrepreneur last night, actually. And she does still work a full-time job. Plus, she is really trying to kickstart her business. She's already been doing this for, I believe she said almost 3 years, and she's very successful, but she's limited to what she can do. She also has a little one. Her daughter is 3, and she wants to spend time with her daughter when she's not working her standard 9-to-5 corporate job. So it was really just kind of something that was pulling at my heartstrings, and it's something that I wanted to share with our audience, because if you're feeling overwhelmed running your business, plus having a 9-to-5, plus having kids, if you are a mom, if you're not a mom, you're still doing all the things, you're not alone in that journey of feeling that way. And that's kind of where this podcast is coming from.
Are you a content creator looking for the best music for your videos? Epidemic Sound is the best place to find music and effects to level up your work. I personally use Epidemic Sound for my wedding videos and have had an amazing experience. Using their search tools, I'm able to look for the perfect song for my clients by genre and mood. Select the Epidemic Sound offered keywords when searching, like dreamy, suspense, euphoric, to find the perfect match for you. Start your 7-day free trial of Epidemic Sound with the link below.
And then the second part of this podcast is, if you are a entrepreneur similar to me who has a little bit of ADHD, a little bit of I can't sit still, a little bit of I have so many ideas in my brain, how do I execute all of them? You're also not alone in that journey. So I want to kind of like dive into that and just kind of like open up what I've been feeling lately and kind of just like share to the universe like what's in my brain. So as I mentioned, I'm on year 5 of my business. I have an amazing team. My team is running things and I'm still working events a little bit more than I want to because I feel that I still need that income and I still need that revenue to make myself feel happy and in a good place financially, where I know that my team can work all the events. I don't even need to work them anymore. I know that my team can start helping me prep things and do things, but I'm still holding on to a lot of things that I know that I can have executed by my team. So I'm working on that, but I'm very proud of myself that I am able to do multiple events per day because I have a team who can also help me with that. So that is like a huge win that I feel that I have overcome this year. And I'm just giving myself a pat on the back because I think we don't do that enough as entrepreneurs. I've recently saw a quote and it was like, you never see your growth because you constantly set the bar higher. And that just resonated with me so much because I feel like that's who I am as a person. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs feel that way because you don't see your growth because you're just looking at what's next. What can I do better? What's going to be my next best thing that I'm going to be doing? And you don't look at where you've come. Like I came from nothing starting this business. I literally started with a $1,200 horse trailer that was completely rusted. It wasn't even safe for animals to be in it. And I built it into this beautiful curated experience that weddings like rave over. And I don't give myself enough credit for seeing all of that through. And then I built a team of amazing bartenders who want to support me and want to promote my business, and because they love it as much as I do. And that is just one of the most powerful things that you could say as a business owner is when your team supports you more than you support yourself. One of my bartenders just recently recommended me for a huge event in September. And I called her and I was like, I just want to thank you. And she's like, I am always promoting you. Like anytime I can get something for the Vintage Horse, like I'm there. And another one of my bartenders, she's like, I feel like all I do is talk about the Vintage Horse because I want everyone to know how amazing this is. And it's just the most heartwarming I can't even express how I feel about that because they don't have to do that. They're just working for me. But I feel that I build such a relationship with my team because they're family to me. They're not someone who works for me. And one of my bartenders, our kids are around the same age, so we hang out a lot. And she always jokes, like when we're with someone or she's introducing me to someone she knows, she's like, this is my boss. And I'm like, can you stop telling people that? She's like, well, you are my boss. And I'm like, but I don't feel like your boss. I feel like your friend. And I know that sounds like that could be like weird, but it's not. I come from a corporate background where I did not like most of my bosses, and they were great. They did their job. They helped me get to the level I got to, but they were never my friend because that's what they were taught to do. They were taught that they had to be superior in the workforce and they had to reprimand their staff when they needed to be reprimanded. And yes, that is true, but there's ways that you could go around it where you can still say thank you to someone and you can still say you're doing a great job to someone without feeling like you're too much of their friend. And I just feel like I have taken a lot of things from the corporate experience and brought it into my job now. And I do a lot of things differently than my previous bosses did. So I think I'm doing well in that sense too. But primarily kind of like where I wanted this podcast episode to go is my brain is crazy right now because I am thinking what's next. And I recently hosted the Mompreneur event. We did our first one. We had an amazing turnout. It was so awesome. I very quickly after launched my second one, and I felt like it was too close to the date that I had done my first one. And it was also during my busy season of the vintage horse. And I did cancel that event, and I don't regret canceling it because I don't think that I would have been able to put my all into it. But I think it was just one of those scenarios of my brain is going crazy. I'm thinking of what's next. What can I do? What can I do? And it wasn't the right time to do that event. So there will be another one, but just not right now. And I'm excited for what it does come because I do love connecting people in a room, and especially moms who are trying to do all the things. That was such an amazing day, and we need more days like that together and just reminding ourselves that we're not alone, because that's what the event was all about. So with that, last night I just did a content day for a small business owner who is looking to do additional, she wants to do live events for her business. And she posted something on social media saying that she wanted someone just to come in and get cell phone footage of her business, so that she could start promoting this specific niche that she's looking to add to her business. And it just made me realize that I really enjoyed doing it. And I think that this is something that I see in the future of me working with small businesses to help them grow their social media platform. And I dabbled into content creation for a while. I do work with one of my besties, Full of Sips, and you might know her with Alexis, who does manifestation. And I help her on a bunch of her restaurant accounts. And I love doing that. She is a powerhouse. I have learned so much from her, but it fills my cup on doing something different. And I think that that is what I was lacking in the corporate world of, yes, every event was different, but it was still black and white of, okay, this is the event, this is the food, this is the drinks, this is what you get. And I wasn't able to use my creativity at all. And I feel like that is something that I am able to do in this business times a million. You are endless with what you can do when you start your first business. And I really just wanted this episode to be a reminder that it's okay if your brain is going in a million different directions of, what am I doing? What am I doing next? I have this bright idea and I know that it's going to be powerful and amazing, but I don't know if I should do it. Yes, you should do it. And if it doesn't work out, that is absolutely okay. It is okay for things not to work out. And it is okay for you to have a trial and error. For example, the Mompreneur event, I tried it. It was amazing. I absolutely could have done that second one and it still would have been amazing, but it wouldn't have been amazing to me. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but it wouldn't have been what I wanted it to be. So I felt like I needed to pump the brakes, revisit the whole experience. And a lot of people could have looked at that as failure. And it could have looked at as I had to refund tickets to people and I had to give them their money back. And I had to tell them that I failed and I'm not hosting this event anymore and it's not going to work out. But instead, I took it as a growth opportunity for me to understand that I tried something, it didn't work out to the full potential that I wanted it to work out in, and that's okay. And I tried being a content creator for a small business in a different way where they were just sending me videos and photos and I was just posting that onto their social media rather than going to the actual events, getting the video and photos in a way that I feel in my head is going to best represent their brand, and being able to execute reels and short videos and marketing opportunities for them. So last night was a really big aha moment for me that I could really enjoy doing this. And I love doing it for my business. And I feel like if I get the clientele where I love their brand, I love what they do, I think it's something I'm going to be very picky about, because not everyone is going to love everyone else's business. And that is absolutely fine. There are a million people who probably are like, I don't think a horse trailer at an event is probably that cool of a thing. But that's okay. You're not my people, and that's fine. I've actually been on a Love Island kick. And if you're Love Islanders, one of the girls on it was like, I'm gonna botch this, but something along the lines of like, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, so you don't have to drink me. I was dying. I don't know if that's exactly how she said it, but somewhere along those lines. And honestly, she has a point. Like, not everyone is going to like you as a friend, as a business owner, as a business, and that's okay. There are how many people in this world that are going to love your business, and those are your people. And that is where I think I want to see this I guess it's still called a content creator, but I don't think I'm going to see myself doing it as putting their pictures on their specific social media and doing captions for them. I think it's going to be more along the lines of like, I'm going to create the content for you, and then you're able to use it how you want. So I don't know where this is going, but I wanted this episode to be kind of like a chat with my bestie, being like, I have all these crazy ideas on my brain, but how do I execute them in a authentic way where it's not another crazy idea that Jen has? Because that is how I look at things sometimes. I'm like, oh, Jen has all these crazy ideas and she's always doing something, which I hear from all of you all the time. And I love it because yes, that is who I am as a person. I am someone who I always have to be busy. Busy is literally the number one word that I use when I talk to someone. They're like, oh, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, busy. And I feel like I should probably find another word in the vocabulary, but I wear busy on my sleeve, and I think I do a good job of it, showing it. But I am busy, and that's just who I am. I'm that way as a mom. My kids are very rarely home sitting on the couch. It's just not something that we do. We're usually out doing things, and that's just what fills my cup up. I think I'm a better mom when I'm out doing things with them, because they're experiencing life in a different way, in a fun way. And I'm not saying we go out and spend money and do things. Like, we go to the parks, we go to our town pool, like we go to the library. We do things outside of the house. I'm just not a homebody. And I think that that's okay. But sometimes people look at that as she never sits still, which I don't. But yeah, I enjoy being busy, and I don't know another word for it, but busy is going to be my word for now. But I just want to relate to someone, and I want them to understand that it's okay when you have big ideas, but you need to execute them. And I don't want you just sitting on this idea, because in 10 years, you're going to look back and be like, wow, I wish I did that idea that I had. And now it's quote unquote too late, which it is never too late. I want you to understand that it is never too late for you to start something new. It is never too late for you to start that idea that you have. But some people could look at it as, I've been sitting on this idea for so long, I just can't do it anymore. So don't let that be your thought process in the future. If you have an idea of a new business, a new side gig that you want to add, it can be something completely out of what you're doing right now. I think a lot of my big ideas do relate to each other, because I think as a mobile bar owner, I'm gathering people together. As the mompreneur event, I gathered people together. It was a specific niche because that is the season of life that I'm in right now. And that is a season that I can pour my heart into, because I am so relatable because I'm literally going through what you're going through. Whether your kids are newborns or whether they're in college, you're still a mom who is running a business. It doesn't matter what stage of life your kids are. And my mom still calls me and she's like, did you do that thing I told you to do? And I'm like, no, I'll get to it eventually. So it never changes is the point that I'm getting at. But I just want you to know that it is okay to do that thing that's on your heart. And it doesn't have to be in your niche. And another thing that Devin and I did for a while was the big event. That was gathering people together. So I feel like my crazy ideas kind of all relate to gathering people together, which is obviously what I truly enjoy doing. And it's what fills me up. But it does not have to be in your niche of what you do as a business owner. Like if you, I don't know the words, if you're a photographer and you want to start knitting like Megan does and you want to start selling your stuff, like go for it, girl. Do what you feel creative to do, because I'm a firm believer that the universe put that thought on your heart and on your mind for a reason, because it wants you to be the one to do it. And that was where the Mompreneur event came in. I had this idea of, I want to get moms who run businesses in a room together. And I felt like I was the one to execute that to other people. And boy, did that execute, because the amount of love and just like inspiration that was in that room was unlike anything I've ever experienced before. And I cannot wait to do it again, but it just needs to be the right time. And now I'm dabbling in this whole, helping small businesses get their content out, because I see such an amazing outcome on what I've done on my social media and how many bookings I get from social media, because I have built a platform on my social media. So I just think that you can find something that you love and help other people do the same thing. And I think that that is the most rewarding thing that you can do as a human, but also as an entrepreneur, because I started my mobile bar business because I enjoyed hosting events at my house, but I felt like I was always the one asking people, do you need a drink? Do you need anything? And I wasn't able to enjoy my own events. So I was solving a problem for someone else to be able to enjoy their own events. Now with the Mompreneur, I was solving a problem of being isolated as a mom who's trying to run a business, who's trying to pack lunches and get their kid to daycare and then go to the coffee shop to get an hour of work done, but then also have the mental load of everything else that you still have to do for the day. Did you book the doctor's appointments? Is the sports bag packed for hockey later? Like all the things that go on in a brain of a mom. I wanted people to feel like they were not the only one going through all that struggle. The big event, we were solving a problem of finding local vendors and actually seeing them in person versus just seeing their stuff online. You actually got to experience what they did in real time. And now, if I dabble into this, I don't even know what I'm going to call it, but helping vendors, me basically tagging along at their actual events and capturing what they do in real time to be able to show a future booking or a future client what it's going to feel like when you book them for this experience. And I feel like that is unmatched, because that is something that I always honed back in on with my business. Was a reel on Instagram or a video on TikTok is a free commercial for your business to show someone how they're going to experience your business in real life. And I feel like every time I create a reel on my Instagram, in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, start to finish, how is someone going to feel when they're walking up to the horse trailer at a wedding? What is that experience like of them, us creating a craft cocktail and pouring it in front of them and them tasting it for the first time? Like, I want to visualize that for the person who can't visualize it for themselves. And I feel like this whole content creator for small businesses is a great opportunity for me to be able to do that to someone else. So who knows where this is going to go, but I love that I have this platform of our podcast to be able to put it into the universe, because when I first thought about the Mompreneur event, I shared it with you guys first. You were my first ones. And then it happened, and I was able to talk about it after, back on this podcast. And yeah, I spiraled in a million directions this podcast episode, but I'm really missing my bestie Meg. I hope she is enjoying every second on her trip right now, and I cannot wait to hear all about it. And I miss her so much, and I don't know what I'm going to do when she moves to Alaska, but don't worry, podcasts will still be happening. They will just be virtual. But I'm so proud of her for just living her best life and living her dream of doing what she wanted to do. So I'm going to end the episode with that. So basically, if you have something on your heart, go for it. It's scary. It's nerve-wracking. It's hard as hell. Nobody said it was going to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. I'm sure you heard that before, but it's absolutely the truth. If it was easy, everybody would be an entrepreneur and we would have no other businesses. But it's not easy. It's actually really hard. So if you're in this space, you're amazing. You are a powerhouse, and thanks for chatting and listening in.